the 14-year-old. All right. I know some of you guys are still typing. That's okay. Let's go ahead and start talking about this one. So a lot of you guys said you admire his courage to stand up against the government, to try to break free, to say what he thinks is right. But then, of course, we've got the things that are concerning about him, right? That he immediately tries to become the emperor and take over and use his force to become the strongest. Why do you think that Harrison didn't say, let's start a democracy, instead of, I'm going to be the emperor? Grace, what do you think?
I don't think he said he wanted democracy because the democracy's already broken. So he doesn't want to go back to that, so he's trying to think of something different.
Okay.
I mean, it's not the right option, but...
Right. Would we argue that this America that we're seeing is still a democracy?
At one point it was a democracy, so then it gradually became this.
Evolved into something else, right? So why instead jump straight to dictatorship and tyrannical government instead of saying, hey, we should try something else? What do you think, Corbin?
Well, I mean, he's already freakishly strong. Why would anyone want to go against him? I mean, if he's this, like, powerful,
Okay.
without anyone to back him up, what's the point of fighting back? It's more of just a way to think of, he's probably thinking that he can use his newfound strength to scare everyone to follow him.
Okay.
A lot of people do.
Agreed. Here's my question for you, though. Why does he want that? What forced him to want that to be the case?
Because I guess just because the world enforced equality, that if he is the only one not equal, he could be basically better than everyone else.
Okay, so he sees it just as an opportunity to be a leader. What do you think?
They refer to, like, I'm guessing, like, this year, these years,
Mm-hmm.
as the Dark Ages. So maybe they see that as what failed them as a society back in the Dark Ages.
Okay, so they've been kind of brainwashed into thinking what came before was bad. I would argue that maybe Vonnegut wants you to see that this enforced equality ends up causing major inequality and could potentially have caused something even worse, right? Harrison was so strong that if they hadn't shot him and killed him immediately, what might have happened? He would have killed them. He would have enforced his own rule, right? So Vonnegut is kind of arguing these types of government where we try to enforce too much equality might end up actually leading to a society where everyone is subservient and then we've got some kind of dictator who takes over. And it could end very horribly for everyone, right? So the character of Harrison is kind of there to show you that concerning behavior, that kind of violent response to being suppressed is that he then wants to be the one who suppresses everyone else. Yeah, KJ. When was this written? I want to say it was written in the 60s or 70s.
It could also be like commentary on communism.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime a fiction like that, you read fiction like this, it's commenting on the time period. Yeah. I think it says it on the first page of your guys' reading. I can't remember the exact, 60s? Yeah. Does anyone know what we were fighting against in the 60s?
That was Vietnam.
Yeah, we were dealing with communism too, right? And communism is kind of this idea that you have everyone being equal, right? So potentially his writing here was a cautionary tale against kinds of things that you're seeing in communist society. All right. I'm gonna skip this one, just because we kind of already talked about that. Number 5, with whom do you think Vonnegut sympathizes in the story? Who does he want you as a reader to sympathize with? Does he present Harrison as a hero, or is this story heroless? Is Harrison presented as a hero, or is he presenting a story that doesn't have a hero? Who does he want you to actually feel sorry for, to sympathize with? What do you think? This one's a little tricky. I'm making you think. I'm pushing your brains today. Who does he want you to sympathize with in this story? Is Harrison a hero or not? Do we have a hero? Another minute or so. We're going to talk about him. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop you guys. It looks like a lot of us have our answers here. And a lot of us, I feel like we're pretty consistent in our answers. So a lot of you guys said we should sympathize with George and Hazel here, the average person under this government. Some of us argued that Harrison was the hero, but he ends up not being the hero by the end of the story. And some of us said it was heroless the whole time. What do we think? There's kind of a disagreement there about that one. What do you think, Grace?
I think he's the hero, like, throughout the whole thing. At the end, his plan would go with what he wanted or change, because he died. But I think he's still a hero because it starts a conversation with others around the citizen, or like around America. So it could then cause an effect where they come up with a new government that's better and they actually follow through. So he could be the hero that doesn't actually become the new government or come up with a plan.
Okay, so he's maybe an unsuccessful hero at first, but you're hoping eventually he becomes the hero.
Are they going to control the government if the government will let them think about controlling the government? They just killed this.
Good question. It's going to be really hard too, right? Harrison was probably one of their only hopes because he was able to break out. But think about it this way: who saw that? Everyone. It was on TV, and it seems like they didn't have much else to do except sit and watch TV, right? So it's possible that many, many people saw it, and he's gonna have an effect on their society because of that. I don't know if we could say he's a hero, though. He might be instrumental in change possibly happening, hopefully. But how would you define a hero in a story? They save the day, okay. Does a hero usually have moral intentions? Yes. Did Harrison have moral intentions? Not really, right? Because his end goal was, I'm gonna be the dictator and make you do whatever I say.
His motive was correct, but his
Okay. Yeah,
motive was to
agreed.
overthrow the government.
Right. But
Not to give the power back.
his end goal was not necessarily the best. All right. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have you try to answer the next question, and as soon as you finish, the bell's probably gonna be ringing here. Can't really spend a lot of time discussing it yet, but maybe tomorrow. Next question. I'm gonna skip that. Question 7. Is Vonnegut's story a cautionary tale about the importance of freedom, of individuality, of human excellence, or is he aiming for something else? What do you think he's trying to caution us about? What is his warning from this story? What is he trying to warn you about? Make you think about? Once you guys have answered that, you can go ahead and put your Chromebook away and get ready for the bell to ring here, because it's going to happen in just about a minute. What do you think he's trying to warn us about? We'll talk about this one tomorrow. It'll be the start of our period before we move on. Bless you. I know. All right, heading to 6th period. All right. All right, Marianne, I'll see you tomorrow.